Hello. Welcome to this primary candidate forum co-sponsored by the Daily Record newspaper and the League of Women Voters. My name is Charlie Sorensen, and I am the Voter Services Chair of the League of Women Voters, Kittitas County. Founded in 1920, the League of Women Voters is a nonpartisan organization with 800 affiliates across the country. It encourages informed and active participation in government, works to increase understanding of major public policy issues, and influences public policy through education and advocacy. The League never endorses or opposes candidates or political parties at any level. We don't care how you vote, only that you vote. League membership is open to all genders, ages 16 and over, and we invite you all to join us. Our moderator for this primary candidate virtual forum event is Catherine Murphy. Catherine has been a member of the League since 2017, where she has filled a variety of roles at the state and local level. Thank you, Catherine.
Thank you, Charlie. I'm very pleased to have the opportunity to moderate our virtual 2020 primary candidate forums. These events offer voters the opportunity to hear directly from candidates in response to questions sourced from inside our community. As with everything else right now, we are learning how to modify traditional in-person events to virtual ones. The League of Women Voters records and retains a full, unedited copy of all candidate forums. If any portion of a League forum is redistributed out of context to make a candidate appear to say something they did not say, or edited to make a candidate look bad in any way that they did not actually look at the original forum, then the League of Women Voters will alert the media, provide the unedited video for comparison, and file appropriate complaints with any applicable governing authority. For the virtual 2020 primary forums, we record each candidate interview using the same structure: a 60-second opening statement, 90-second responses to 3 community-sourced questions, and a 60-second closing statement. The forum recordings are being offered in 2 formats. Viewers can watch each interview as a standalone choice, and they can watch a 5-part playlist which shows all candidates in the order in which they appear on the ballot, answering the same question in a compiled video. Part 1 includes this introduction and each candidate's opening statement. Parts 2 through 4 show each question being asked and then the candidate's responses. Part 5 shows each candidate's closing statements plus my closing remarks. The forum recordings will be available at the Kittitas County League website and on our YouTube channel, the Ellensburg Daily Record website, on Ellensburg Community Television, Spectrum Channel 191, and Inland Networks. Kittitas, the Kittitas Public Utility Commissioners serve a 6-year term. They ensure the district continues to deliver affordable, dependable electricity to rural and urban areas. The commission establishes policy, approves plans, budgets, and expenditures, and reviews the district's operations. The legal responsibilities and powers of the district, including the establishment of rates and charges for services rendered, are exercised through this commission. 5 candidates are running for the Kittitas County Public Utility District Commissioner Position 1. They are Rick Catlin, Jim Henderson, Ron V. Mitchell, Patrick Kelleher, and Tom Morris. Now I want to welcome Rick Catlin to the forum. Thank you for your participation and taking the time to be with us. It's now time for your opening statement. Mr. Catlin, you have 60 seconds to make it.
Hello, my name's Rick Catlin. Thanks for this opportunity. I am running for PUD Commissioner, position number 1. I'm a lifelong resident of the Kittitas Valley. For the past 30 plus years, I've owned my own electrical construction business, and being a business owner and an electrical contractor, I think it gives me a leg up on being a commissioner for the PUD. I've worked for the PUD with the PUD ever since, with the city of City Light and PSC as well. I've worked all three of them and know how they should work and what's good and what's can be improved on, and that's what I hope to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Now I want to welcome Jim Henderson to this forum. Thank you for taking the time to be with us. We will start with your 60-second opening statement.
All right, thank you. Thank you to the League of Women Voters and the Daily Record. This is always a great opportunity when we can share information, especially when we're talking about voters and voter info. I'm recently retired from the Washington State Department of Transportation. I spent the last 20 years managing region-wide maintenance crews, which consisted of our signal electric crews. So I have some solid background with electric. In addition to that, I also had our bridge repair crews. And so I'm very familiar with emergency response, along with other crews. This was a multi-million-dollar budget. So I'm very familiar with government workings and contracting procedures, purchasing, the personnel relationships, all of that. In addition to that, for the last 16 years,
We're gonna go ahead and move on at this point.
okay,
So
that's
thank you.
fine.
Great. Now I want to welcome Ron Mitchell. Thank you very much for taking the time to be with us. We will start with your 60-second opening statement.
Good evening. My name is Ron Mitchell, and thank you to the League of Women Voters and the Daily Record for putting this forum on. I am a lifelong resident of Ellensburg. I graduated from Ellensburg High School and Central Washington University. I'm a farmer / rancher. I farm about 260 acres of hay ground and pasture, run about 75 mother cows. And as such, I'm a consumer and a customer of PUD. My main vocation is as a pilot. I own and operate Mid-State Aviation. It's a family-owned business that I've owned since 1980. Family started in 1961, so we're celebrating 60 years next year.
Thank you. Now I want to welcome Patrick Kelleher to the forum. Thank you for taking the time to be with us. We will start your 60-second opening statement now.
Thank you, Catherine. The reason that I'm running for PUD Commissioner is to bring lower rates to Kittitas County. The only way to do that is to own a FERC licensed hydropower dam. For the past 19 years, I participated in the FERC process to license the Wanapum and Priest Rapids Dam. During that time, 16 years ago, County Commissioner David Bowen testified to FERC as to the need to dredge the Vantage boat ramp. When the license was issued, FERC ordered the Vantage boat ramp dredged to the tune of $1 million. Commissioner Bowen was speaking for the 40,000 people of Kittitas County, and FERC listened. As your PUD commissioner, I want to compete at FERC for the ownership of the Rock Island Dam and bring lower electrical rates to Kittitas County. Thank you.
Thank you. We will start with your 60-second opening statement.
Thank you, Catherine. Hi, I'm Tom Morris. I am running for PUD Commissioner Position 1. I graduated from Ellensburg High School in 1982, as well as my wife. We were married shortly after in 1984. We have 4 sons, all who live here in the valley, close to us, thankfully. After we were married, Sandy and I, my wife Sandy and I, moved to Seattle, where we spent a little time, and I worked for the Boeing company. At that point, we had our oldest son, Trevor, and after we had Trevor, we decided to come home and spend our married life and raise our family here in Ellensburg. We have a shop here in town that the older two boys, Trevor and Tyler, are starting to take over. And so I am slowly stepping away from that. And I am looking forward to the challenges of being able to be a commissioner and continue learning as I get a little older. I want to learn new things, and I'm just looking for the challenge.
Thank you. Question 1. What experiences and education make you suitable for this position, and why are you running? Mr. Catlin, you have 90 seconds to respond.
Experience, I've done electrical contracting, worked with the homeowners, business and commercial people dealing with the PUD and the other utilities in the valley. So I know their side of it. I know a little bit of our side of it, and being a business owner, I can keep under payroll and a budget. So I think I would be a good fit, and that's good experience to be a PUD commissioner.
Okay, thank you. So question 1, what experiences and education make you suitable for this position, and why are you running? You, Mr. Henderson, you have 90 seconds to respond.
Okay, well, I started on some of that. I have an extensive managerial background with the Washington State Department of Transportation. Additionally, I spent the last 16 years with the Department of Health on various boards and commissions. The last 8 were spent with the Dental Quality Assurance Commission as a governor-appointed public member representative. So I have the background in the government, and I also have the commission experience.
Good. Thank you. Question 1. What experiences and education make you suitable for this position, and why are you running? Mr. Mitchell, you have 90 seconds to respond.
Okay, well, first of all, I'm running because a friend asked me to consider it, and I actually interviewed for this position 25 years ago. So I've had an interest in the PUD and a commissioner job for many years. My experiences include running a large flight school at one point, and right before 9/11, it was the largest flight school in the Northwest. Operated as a contractor for Central Washington University's aviation department. I am a chief pilot for Lakeside Industries right now, flying a corporate airplane, corporate jet for them, and I have worked for them for 23 years. And I've also been involved with several organizations, the Ellensburg Rodeo Association, Chamber of Commerce, Airport Advisory Board, Washington Aviation. I'm the past president of the Washington Aviation Association, and actually was one of the co-founders of the Northwest Aviation Trade Show, which has now grown to about 30,000 people a year conducted at the Puyallup Fairgrounds. So I think I'm uniquely, with my varied experiences and educations, I'm uniquely qualified for this job.
Thank you. Question number 1. What experiences and education make you suitable for this position, and why are you running? Mr. Kelleher, you have 90 seconds to respond.
That's a great question. The why I'm running is to bring lower electrical rates to Kittitas County. My experience, I'll go back to my participation in the FERC process of the relicensing of the Wanapum and Priest Rapids Dam. One of the things that I did was I attended Kittitas PUD meetings, encouraging them to compete for the Priest Rapids license. They chose not to. But I would also follow, and I also follow today. In fact, I'll be monitoring tomorrow, grant PUD's ongoing meetings. They're a much larger PUD. They deal with the same issues that Kittitas PUD is, but they usually have staff that can provide a slide deck, a presentation, a talk to explain the situation in detail. So I think my ongoing education as to what's happening in the day-to-day operation of a typical PUD is up to speed and is broad. Thank you.
Thank you. Question number 1. What experiences and education make you suitable for this position, and why are you running? Mr. Morris, you have 90 seconds to respond.
So I'll start with my education. After I graduated from Ellensburg High School, I went to J.M. Perry Institute down in Yakima, and I got a auto body repair degree. Shortly after that, as I started in that trade, as I said in my opening statement, my wife and I moved to Seattle. I worked in a body shop there, and then I went to work for the Boeing company. During that time, I went back to school at Everett Valley Community College and took the courses and got my A degree in public speaking. At Boeing, I ran quality improvement for the interior division as well as statistical analysis for them. That started me in the direction of knowing that I was interested in statistical analysis and being in the managerial position. When we moved home, my wife and I both took jobs here, and several years later, I bought the shop that we own now, and we have spent 23 years running that shop. In most every job I've had, I ended up in the managerial positions, and I find myself that I enjoy putting teams together so that people can do so much more as a team, and I enjoy that challenge of putting teams together to see what we can accomplish as a team. I'm looking forward to the commissioner job because I love new challenges, and I think I can bring all of my vast experience from my career to this position.
Thank you. Question 2. Customers are increasing their use of renewable energy, which results in lower demand for electricity, the electricity that the PUD sells. This forces the utility to increase prices. How will you balance support for renewable energy with a balanced PUD budget? Mr. Catlin, you have 90 seconds to respond.
The renewable energy, I think, is very important. Supply and demand, if we use more renewable than the dams, I think it will keep the prices pretty steady. Until I get in there, I really don't know what we need to do on the budget end of it to make ends meet, but I think if we streamline, I think everything will work out well. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Question 2. Customers are increasing their use of renewable energy, which results in lower demand for electricity the PUD sells. This forces the utility to increase prices. How will you balance support for renewable energy with a balanced PUD budget? Mr. Henderson, you have 90 seconds to respond.
Well, anytime we're adjusting budget and when we have influences to our income, there's going to be an impact. You look at your budget, you prioritize, and you work from there.
Okay. Question 2. Customers are increasing their use of renewable energy, which results in lower demand for the electricity the PUD sells. This forces the utility to increase prices. How will you balance support for renewable energy with a balanced PUD budget? Mr. Mitchell, you have 90 seconds to respond.
Well, I think it's obvious that there is more demand for renewable energy, and that the solar energy especially and wind has been a big contender in this county and in the state of Washington, and that's going to continue to increase. You're right that probably with the lack of volume, that PUD is probably going to continue to raise prices for the power they have. One control I know in my business as business fluctuates that I've had is control expenses. If income's down, you have to control expenses. That may mean fewer people, it may mean fewer capital projects. I've had a little bit of insight into what the local PUD is doing at this time. I think they're wise stewards of the resources of the PUD. I think they're doing a good job financially. I actually worked with the chief financial officer, Janine Pratt, in my job is in the Ellensburg Rodeo Association. I was the treasurer and I was also office manager, so I worked closely with Janine. She did our accounting and actually worked as a consultant for us for a while. So I'm fairly well versed in what the economics are of the PUD, and it's not my first rodeo per se, because I've been involved in business for a long time.
Thank you. Question 2. Customers are increasing their use of renewable energy, which results in lower demand for the electricity that the PUD sells. This forces the utility to increase prices. How will you balance support for renewable energy with a balanced PUD budget? Mr. Kelleher, you have 90 seconds.
Well, that's a good question, multifaceted question that brings in a lot of issues. It doesn't necessarily raise your electrical rates, because if the renewable energy displace high cost, avoidable cost power, it would actually reduce it. So right now we kind of have an inversion in our tier 1, tier 2 rates, where tier 2 can be lower than our tier 1 BPA rates, but that's going to change over time in people producing renewable energy at their local home. I fully support and encourage. And so I look forward to that happening. But I definitely disagree with the premise that uses electrical rates. Thank you.
Thank you. Question number 2. Customers are increasing their use of renewable energy, which results in lower demand for the electricity the PUD sells. This forces the utility to increase prices. How will you balance support for renewable energy with a balanced PUD budget? Mr. Morris, you have 90 seconds.
Renewable energy is definitely a thing that is here, and it has become more evident as we go along. The PUD is in an interesting position with selling power from vendors to which they purchase and then transferring that to their customers. I believe that the PUD will need to find a way to either somehow develop their own solar, wind, power systems, go more in a direction of using more of that power. And we will have to embrace the renewable energy that is here in front of us now. I can't sit here and say that I know how all of that will happen. I don't believe until, if I am elected and I'm in that position and I can understand fully where the PUD sits as term of customers, in terms of their customer base and how much their customers are using renewable energy. I don't think I can give a solid answer as to what that percentage will be and how the PUD will move forward. I know that we're very fortunate to have the commissioners we have. One of us vastly understands renewable energy. So I look forward to being able to take that challenge and to be able to explore how we move forward with renewable energy.
Thank you. Okay. Question 3. As the price of wholesale power goes up, what role should the PUD play to assure customers receive electricity at a minimum rate? Mr. Catlin, you have 90 seconds to respond.
Right now, my biggest thing I want to look into is right now the PUD does not have their own lineman or engineer, and they subcontract it out. And I think we should have both our linemen and our servicemen and our engineer all in-house and have more control over them instead of the contract. The contract electrical contractors are good for the bigger projects that we can't handle in-house, but I think we should handle more in-house, and I think that would help lower costs and streamline it more. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Question 3. As the price of wholesale power goes up, what role should the PUD play to assure consumers receive electricity at a minimum rate? And Mr. Henderson, you have 90 seconds to reply.
Well, unfortunately, rate increases are going to happen. Our job is to ensure that as those occur, we're looking at the whole picture, that we are effectively managing our resources and our personnel, and that we are aware of what's going on with that personnel and resources. And again, we prioritize our needs, and those then help us deliver an effective program.
Thank you. Question 3. As the price of wholesale power goes up, what role should the PUD play to assure customers receive electricity at a minimum rate? Mr. Mitchell, you have 90 seconds.
Well, I think the PUD, that is basically the function of the PUD, besides delivering the product, is to try to negotiate the best possible price for the customers. From what I've seen and understood, I think they do a pretty good job of that right now. They belong to 3 different organizations, and through that have some power in volume and in numbers. But as everybody knows, this is a very small PUD. Relatively speaking, compared to the neighboring PUDs in Douglas County and Chelan County and Grant County, there's 100 and some thousand customers there, and there's 4,600 in Kittitas. So there's only so much they're going to be able to do. This local PUD will be able to do to control that, keep the prices down. From what I've seen, they're doing a pretty good job and doing a pretty good job of trying to maximize the use of their manpower, of their labor force, and at the same time, they're dealing with infrastructure that is deteriorating. They need to spend the capital to replace that infrastructure and improve it. I guess that would be my answer.
Good. Well, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Question 3. As the price of wholesale power goes up, what role should the PUD play to assure consumers receive electricity at the minimum rate? Mr. Kelleher, you have 90 seconds.
Well, my plan is to go out and compete for the Rock Island Dam license, and then there will not be a problem with getting cheap electricity. It'd be under a penny a kilowatt. But in the current situation, Kittitas PUD is a preference power consumer of BPA. That's where we get our Tier 1 power. We also get our Tier 2 power from BPA. We are so small, we are not going to go out on the open market and contract for rates. We are going to take the Tier 2 rate that BPA extends us as a preference customer. We're paying 3 times the rate of Chelan PUD for the same electrical power. And the only way to correct that is to get a FERC license for the Rock Island Dam. And that's what my proposal is to do.
Thank you. Question 3. As the price of wholesale power goes up, what role should the PUD play to assure that consumers receive electricity at a minimum rate? Mr. Morris, you have 90 seconds to respond.
You know, one of the nice things about the PUD is because it is a public utility, we don't have the profits that we need to generate as the private power companies do. The PUD is able to distribute power to the whole county, which we don't. The PUD is in a position that we need to upgrade our transformers, update our substations. And as we're able to do that, I believe we'll be able to offer power at a reduced rate from what our competitors do. Right now, the PUD is in a unique position that we are able to leverage what our profits have been to be able to get this infrastructure up and going and replace it and update the whole system so that we can offer more to our customers. Our goal would be to be able to offer power to every Kittitas County resident that is not on a municipal system. And I believe in doing such, we'll be able to offer competitive rates more than our competition. So I believe that with our budget, the PUD's budget is very good. It is in a good spot right now. And I think we can continue and make it even more affordable for our customers.
Thank you. It's now time for your closing statement. And Mr. Catlin, you have 60 seconds for that.
Okay, I would appreciate your support. I've lived in the valley all my life and love it here. PUD is a great outfit along with the other utilities, and I think we can all work together and everything will work well that way. I am very interested in having your support to run for this office. I think it's should be a great experience for me, and I think that the experience I've had will help me do a better job at it. Thank you.
Good. Well, thank you, Mr. Catlin, for joining us and for sharing your views with the voters of Kittitas County.
Thank you.
Mr. Henderson, you now have 60 seconds to make your closing statement.
Well, I would appreciate support. I think that I'm a plug and play type of individual. My background lends very well to the PUD commission. I've been involved in commissions. I can work effectively with groups. And I have government experience, extensive government experience. So I'm very familiar with budgeting and rules. So I think I'm a really good fit for this position. I would certainly make it my foremost effort to work towards maintaining our infrastructure and the quality of our infrastructure. I think it's critical that we keep our resources in place. I have an extensive maintenance background, so that's where I want to focus, and that would be my focal point, maintenance.
Thank you. Mr. Mitchell, you now have 60 seconds to make a closing statement.
Okay. I would like the opportunity to serve as a PUD commissioner. I think I can bring a lot of things to the table that is unique to my life experiences. I've been involved in budgeting some fairly large projects through my business, through the Ellensburg Rodeo Association, through my involvement with the Elmview Trust. So I think I'm good at managing money. I know I'm good at managing money, and that's why I've been successful for a lot of years. And I like to think that I'm good at identifying good people and picking good people and putting those people in the right position. I think that's probably one of my strengths. So I would appreciate the chance and opportunity to be the Kittitas County, Kittitas PUD District 1 Commissioner.
Thank you. Mr. Kelleher, you now have 60 seconds to make your closing statement.
FERC, which is the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, puts their hydropower licenses for each dam up for competition every 50 years. In 2001, FERC put up Priest Rapids, Wanapum, and Rocky Reach Dam for competition. We did not compete. In 2007, FERC put up Wells Dam for competition, and we did not compete. In 2023, FERC will put up Rock Island Dam for competition, and we can compete. As your PUD commissioner, I want to compete at FERC and win the Rock Island license to bring lower rates to Kittitas County. Thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Morris, you now have 60 seconds to make your closing statement.
Thank you for inviting me to be on this kind of experimental forum. I appreciate the time that you put into this, and I appreciate the voters educating themselves to get to know the candidates. I want to become the PUD commissioner because I am excited to be able to work in an organization to bring affordable power to all of our residents. I've been very fortunate and worked in nonprofits in the past. I've been fortunate in working overseas with people and seeing people that are truly in need. And I hope to bring all of my experiences from working with people, working in business, working with real estate, to be able to serve the PUD customers. The PUD, as I said before, is such a unique thing that we are able to have that I am very much looking forward to just serving the people of Kittitas County with the experiences that I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Morris, for joining us and sharing your views with the voters of Kittitas County.
Thank you.
As we conclude, I want to remind everyone that our ballots should arrive by July 17th, and we have until August 4th to return them. If you're not registered or need to change your address, you have till July 27th to do so online or by mail. After the 27th, you can register, update your registration, and vote in person through 8 p.m. on August 4th at the County Auditor's Office. If you don't get your ballot, please call or visit the County Auditor's Office right away. To get more information about all the candidates running in the 2020 primary, the Kittitas League has created a nonpartisan online voters guide. You will find links to candidate websites and other helpful resources there. You can get information also at vote411.org and at the Washington Secretary of State's office. Thank you to all the candidates who made time to participate in these events. The Kittitas County League wants to thank the Daily Record newspaper for co-sponsoring the 2020 virtual primary forums, and to Ellensburg Community Television, Spectrum Network, and Inland Networks for showing the forum videos throughout the county. Finally, thank you to the many League volunteers who made these events possible. Your vote matters. Join me by casting your ballot in the August 4th primary. Thank you.